Do you believe it now, Trinity?
Okay, now we have the second set of forces. Electromagnetism, Conscimagentism. What are they? Electromagnetism is the fields within the atomic structure and emanating to the outside of it. So if you have a substance of mass, you have electromagnetic fields there. And with Conscimagentism, you have the same thing. With consciousness, you have Conscimagentism, which is a parallel force. Now, in every life form is a weak electromagnetic field. Now, here's a theory about how to try to prove consciousness. Now, this may work or it may not. This is an idea. One of the first prediction of Conscimagentism is, irrespective of the size of a species, the species that's more evolved will have a higher thought level. So, I'm a human being, I have a higher thought level, you have a higher thought level than, say, a rhinoceros. It's a big animal, but it's got a lower thought level. Well, we could do tests on those, but that, we might need some big equipment to do that. So let's try it on a smaller scale. Let's try it with an amphibian and a reptile. Now, a reptile is more evolved than an amphibian. So what we would need is a smaller reptile than amphibians. So a large toad, say, and a smaller sized lizard. And this is how we would conduct the experiment. Now, I'm not advocating putting animals down, but this is the only way to test this out, to prove or disprove this theory. And it may or may not work. If you have an electromagnetic field sensor, my hope is that it will measure the parallel in the fifth dimension momentarily as that consciousness leaves the body. So let's say we have, let's draw a box. This is what I call the window into the fifth dimension. And what do we have? We have here, we have the amphibian and we have the reptile. Let's use white chalk. And we have the electromagnetism and we have the consciomagnetism. Now, when we just measure that reptile and that amphibian, since the amphibian is larger, physically larger, it should have a higher electromagnetic reading. And the reptile should have a lower one. Now, what we do is we remotely inject them so that they pass away. They die. And as, I'm sorry, let me back up. We move this sensor up high enough where it can't be measured by the electromagnetism. Just above the body of these animals, high enough where it can be measured. And we can do both of these experiments separately. We can put down the amphibian and the reptile separately. When the animal gets put down and its consciousness leaves the body, there should be an electromagnetic field reading for the reptile that's greater than it is for the amphibian, because the reptile is more evolved, it has a higher thought level. And that higher thought level should equate to a greater measurement of its consciomagnetism. Now, all things being, if it was just a physical universe, you shouldn't get any reading after that animal passes away. But let's suppose somebody were to argue, well, no, that's just thermal energy. That's just the heat from that animal leaving the body because it's passing away. Well, wait a minute, why is it larger for the reptile than it is for the amphibian? That's the idea here, is we want to try to prove the thought level of a more evolved species that's smaller than a less evolved species. So this becomes our window into the fifth dimension. And if we could do that experiment and prove that, then we could do it with a horse and a person, we could do it with a spider and an insect, any two animals where one is more evolved than the other. Okay, enough said about electromagnetism.